So Fáilte Isteach, Díobh Accordia, you're all very welcome to this morning's information clinic on the YPCE Bursary Award. So you're all very welcome. We'll just go ahead with the running order here. You're all very, very welcome. If you could just for this morning, for the recording part, if you can keep your camera off and if you can remain on mute, we'd hugely appreciate that. So this is taking place on Zoom, and you'll see on the Zoom you've got the chat function. You can use that at any time if you want to pop in any questions. Myself and Carol will be able to keep an eye on that and address some of the questions. I'll be just giving a short introduction to the Arts Council, and then we'll be looking across the YPCE bursary, the purposes and the priorities of the award. We'll also look at making an application, and then Egon Zera at the very end, we will have some questions. So if we move on with the next slide. So the Arts Council on Corla Aline. So we are the Arts Council, the Irish government agency for developing the arts. And we work in partnership with artists, arts organisations, various stakeholders, public policymakers, and others to build a central place for the arts in Irish life. So you're meeting here this morning with the YPCE team, the Young People, Children and Education team, and we support children and young people's engagement with the arts from birth right up to adulthood. So across our various awards and schemes and with the organisations that we work with, it's really from 0 up to about the age of 24. We manage funding for arts organisations and artists working primarily in this area. We support other art form and practice teams regarding children and young people's engagement in the arts, local authority partnerships and art form organisations. We work in partnership with other government departments and agencies whose policies and provision impact on children and young people's experience of the arts. So what you're seeing here now is the Arts Council strategy, McGaw, making great art work. And this was implemented across three-year cycles, and we're now into the third cycle. And under Objective 8, we plan and provide for children and young people. So YPCE is very much well placed within McGaw, within our Arts Council strategy. That's available on our website to download and read. And all of our awards and our guidelines speak to making great artwork. And then the other policy we have on screen there, paying the artist. So that's, again, through making great artwork, the Arts Council is committed to improving artists' living and working conditions. And we strive for fair and equitable pay. And again, the paying the artist policy is available on the Arts Council website. So YPCE, just a short look at some of the YPCE 2023 awards. We've got the Young Ensemble Scheme, and that has one deadline per year, which has passed. We've got the Artist and Youth Work Residency Scheme. That's a partnership with the National Youth Council of Ireland, and their deadline passed there at the end of March. We have the YPCE Bursary Award Round 2. So we run 2 rounds per year. This upcoming deadline is the 22nd of June. We have the YPCE Project Award Round 1 2024 deadline. So in YPCE, we offer this 1 round per year, and the deadline will be the 16th of November. We have the Agility Award, which has the same closing date as the Bursary Award on the 22nd of June. And just to support applications, the team there have been running a number of clinics, and we have a clinic on the 15th of June, and we have one on the 19th of June, and those links are available on our website and across social media, but do let us know if you need any information on that. Then we have the Capacity Building Support Scheme that has 1 deadline per year, which has passed. And finally, I'm just going to reference the YPCE Residency. The deadline for that has passed as well. Information about all of these awards and schemes are available on our website. That's not the full list of Arts Council awards. That's just really a list that within YPCE that we work closely with. So now moving on to making an application. So for making an application, the criteria for assessment, we're looking across here at artistic merit, we're looking at feasibility, we're looking at meeting the objectives and priorities of the award. So under artistic merit, we're looking for an application proposal to be ambitious, original, technically competent, it connects with people in a very lasting way. And then looking at feasibility, we're looking at the extent to which the applicant that you demonstrate a capacity to deliver the proposed activity. Your proposal through the timetable or schedule that you have suggested and laid out, the amount of funding requested relative to the nature and duration connected with your proposal, and where relevant, the availability of other support partners identified in the application. So moving on there, we look at section 1.1 of the award guidelines. So here we go. So the Young People, Children and Education Bursary specifically supports artists to engage in professional development that will improve their capacity to develop or present high quality arts experiences with or for children and young people. And the bursary aims to support artists at all stages of their career. So you could be a professional artist already working at a very high level within your art form, but that you're now wishing to move over into YPCE, but perhaps you have limited experience in this area. We would very much welcome your application. We also wish to enable a young artist aged between 18 and 24 who has demonstrated artistic leadership and innovation in their artistic endeavours to put forward a proposal to us as well. Also to enable an emerging mid-career or established artist to explore new ideas, skills or ways of working that will improve their capacity to create high quality work with and for young people and children. So YPCE strategic priorities. So the Arts Council has identified the following as priorities for support through this award. Proposals that demonstrate the benefits to the development of the artist's practice and how this will in turn benefit children and young people during or following the bursary. So there is clarity regarding the context in which the artist's learning will be applied. Proposals that demonstrate how an artist will document, share and disseminate with their peers any findings that emerge from the bursary period. Proposals that enable the artist to work with a mentor who is well placed to support them to develop their practice. Proposals that enable artists to reflect on and develop their practice in partnership with key stakeholders such as potential audiences, participants, professional colleagues, youth workers, carers and educators. So moving on, Carol, I might hand over to you if you're ready and you might continue on the slides.
Yeah, thank you. So who can apply? So the award is open to all artists in all genres and at all stages in their career. They might be resident in the Republic of Ireland. There are some exceptions for those that are based abroad. However, they'll need to make the case explaining how the outcome of the proposal will benefit the arts in the Republic of Ireland. For the purposes of this Bursary Award, an artist includes creative and performing artists across a wide range of disciplines, curators, arts facilitators, or programmers. As part of its equality, diversity, and inclusion policy that Emer mentioned, the Arts Council is committed to offering equality, access, opportunity, and outcomes to all potential applicants, regardless their gender, sexual orientation, civil or family status, religion, race, member of the traveler community, or socioeconomic background. So the Arts Council welcomes applicants that are representative of the diversity of Irish society. So now, who cannot apply? So individuals currently in undergraduate education, seeking support for fees for postgraduate, higher education or study, individuals seeking support towards work undertaken as part of a formal course of study, and individuals seeking support towards the cost of undertaking an internship, and ex-donor members in receipt of CNUS. So in 2023, you can only apply for one award in one arts area. So if you have already applied for the Next Generation Markievicz Award, Bursary Round 1, Agility Round 1, you cannot apply for Bursary Round 2. If you are planning to apply to Agility Round 2, you cannot apply for Bursary Round 2. You must select only one and one art form in 2023. So how much you can apply for? The maximum you can apply is 20,000 and the minimum is 5,000. If your proposal is less than 5,000, you can have a read at the agility guidelines. And as Emer mentioned, there are some clinics taking place in June that you can watch, you can attend, and see if your proposal is a better fit for the Agility Award. So the emphasis of the Bursary Award is on artists buying time, to pay yourself for the time you will be spent developing your practice as an artist. So pay yourself appropriately. Do not request less than you feel you need to achieve your objectives. And the amount you are proposing to pay yourself or any mentors or collaborators should reflect the amount of time you propose to take and should be appropriate to the standard conditions within your area of arts practice. The Bursary Award also allows for other costs. You will see in the guidelines under section 1.5 that you can, for example, apply for materials that cannot be more than 15% of the total request. Then there is the access cost. Beyond the maximum amount, you can also apply for additional funding to remove barriers that might stop you from completing your proposal. So the access cost is an additional funding for yourself as an artist or any collaborators that or mentors that are working with you, and any cost that you need to remove those barriers. So if you have any questions on that, you can email access@artscouncil.ie. Also, if you as an artist need help with your application, if you have a disability or anything that you are not comfortable with our system or the application form, you can also email access@artscouncil.ie and seek support for that. So what might you apply for? Sorry, what you might not apply for. Activities or costs that do not fit the purpose of this award. Activities that are better suited to another award funded by the Arts Council or operated by other state agencies, such as Culture Ireland. Activities that have already taken place or that will be taken for charity purposes or for a competition or for primarily profit-making purposes. Activities that have already been assessed by the Arts Council. So let's say you applied for bursary last year and you want to submit the same application. That is not allowed unless you demonstrate that you have developed your proposal, have you changed it since you last applied, or unless we have advised you to redirect your application to this award. So please bear in mind that our advice is not an indication of a successful outcome. Now, regarding the supporting material that you will need to upload within your application. So we will show you later on the online services system where we will receive all the applications and you will download your application form. So you will upload your application form, but you must also upload a detailed, up-to-date CV, 1 to 3 documented examples of your arts practice. If you already work with children and young people, please do include examples of your practice with them. You will see in the guidelines under section 2.3 the acceptable formats. So you will see, for example, a Google Drive, sharing Google Drive file is not acceptable. Links to the social media or links to the artist's website will not be a supporting material. You must also include statements or letters of support from any key partners, mentors, collaborators that will be working with you if you have said that you will have them on board with you. And where your proposal relies on the expertise of other people or organizations, you should submit brief biographies outlining their expertise, accreditation, and track record. So additional to the mandatory supporting material, the Arts Council requires all individuals providing services to children and young people under the age 18 to have a suitable child protection policy and procedures in place. When making your application, in the application form, you'll be asked if your proposal is relevant to that age group. If you answer yes in the application form and your application is successful, as a condition of funding, you will be required to confirm and demonstrate that you have a suitable child protection policies and procedures in place. If you are asking for access costs, you will see in the application form, in the budget field, you will include a budget for yourself, a fee for yourself, and for any collaborators that you are having on your application. And you should also include the access costs if you're asking for it. So please make sure you include fees for yourself, collaborators, and if you have access costs, if you're asking for access costs, also include that on your application form. So now, how to apply? All the applications must be done through the online services system, which we also call OLS. We will not receive applications by email or post, so you must submit everything online. So when you go to the Arts Council website, you can click on the online services. There is a screenshot of our website. So when you click there, we will show you the next slide there with the first page of the online services system. There you are. So you can register for an account if you don't have it yet. Or if you already have an ARN, which is an arts reference number and a password, you can log in. You will download your application form. It is a Word document that you fill out offline. You can save that to your computer. And then later on, you can log in again. You don't need to do all at once. You fill your application form offline, save it. You can log in again, and you will upload it, and then you will upload your support material. You can always save it as a draft and go back. And if you have your CV already ready, you can upload it, save as a draft, and you can go back again and upload the rest of the supporting material later on. So once you are happy with that, then you submit your proposal. So just going back, if you're not registered yet, do so as soon as possible, because it might take up to 5 days until you receive your password. And you will need your arts reference number, ARN, and password to download the application form and submit your application. I'll now hand over back to Emer. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. So the deadline, June 22nd. All applications that we receive will go through an initial eligibility check. And then they go through a further check, and that goes back to the slide that Carol was referring to there around the support material. So having all the essential support material is really, really important. Making sure that the links in the support material, that they all work. That's very important as well. And definitely double checking the sites that we can use, because anything, as Carol said, let's say Google Drive, we can't look at, or if there are sites where there's a fee involved, we won't be able to access either. So please just make sure that you give it in the formats that we accept, to the sites that we accept as well. So once your application is deemed eligible, it goes forward for quite a rigorous assessment process. It goes through the teams, it goes to the head of team, the advisor, it goes through an assessment process where each application then is either shortlisted or not shortlisted. An application which is shortlisted goes forward to peer panel, which are appointed to review all of the shortlisted materials, all the shortlisted applications, and they have access to everything that you have uploaded. So that's really important to bear in mind, that the material and information that you put forward goes through to a number of people. A peer panel then is made up of a diverse number of people, and not everybody will be familiar with your work. So bear that in mind when you're putting together your support material. The peer panel have delegated authority, so that decision is final, and then the decisions are noted by council. The applicants then are notified. You'll receive an email notification with your final decision. Following that, you can ask for your assessment report. So we'd encourage people to do that. So when will you receive a decision? It really depends on the volume of applications that we receive, but we would say that you will get something between 12 and 15 weeks that you should get a decision. And just mentioning again here, the child protection policy and procedure self-audit, that if you are successful in your funding, you will receive information on this, that you will go through a self-audit process. And there is support through safeguarding at artscouncil.ie and the YPCE team as well. We can help you with that. So that's the other side. If you're successful with funding, this is something you'll do. And on to the next slide, please, Carol. So we would say read the guidelines thoroughly. We've basically done a kind of a snapshot of the guidelines, but really in making your application, you should have a read through the guidelines in absolute their fullness. Give yourself plenty of time to submit an application. Carol was talking about maybe downloading your application and uploading support material. Sometimes a download happens very, very fast, and when you go to upload material, it can take a while. So please give yourself plenty of time. You can be adding your support material as you're going along and saving as draft, and that will save time. Within your application, communicate as clearly as possible. Don't try to mimic maybe the language of the guidelines. Use your own voice while writing your application. Call the team if you've got any queries. And really importantly, we'd always recommend that you ask somebody else to read through your application, because what might be very clear to you may not be clear to somebody else. So as we said as well, this goes through a number of different people through the assessment process, and at the final stage goes before a peer panel. Not everybody will be as familiar with your work as the next person. So your application, your support material should be really, really clear, and the support material should really support and reinforce what you're saying you're setting out to do in your proposal in the application form. And again, request the assessment report following your decision, whether you're successful or otherwise. I think it's really good to get access to that and build on future applications. So make sure your application is clear, concise, and unambiguous. Several people will be involved in making a decision about your application. And do not assume that the assessors will know your work, and treat each application as if it were your very first. And we say that to everybody.
Sorry, just taking a bit longer.
That's okay. That's totally fine. That slide's actually very important anyway. Giving yourself plenty of time. So this is the YPCE team, Shona Nifreen, Katie Lowry, myself, Emer Hart. We've got Carol as well here, and Katie Fitzpatrick. And in the background, we've got some further assessment support there with Bernadette Larkin on the call as well. So you're very welcome, Bernadette. I think that's more or less coming to the end of it. Gurv Mila Mahiguv Galer. It's now Lahain the Keshtana. I will stop recording now. And thank you all very, very much. YPCE at artscouncil.ie if you've got any questions.